Welcome back to another episode of Fully Stoked Podcast. I am here with another fantastic, amazing guys. This is Kim Angeli, and she is really, I would like to say, a big deal. In my opinion, I am honored that she has come to my home in Waxhaw, and she's just got so much to share. So if you've never heard of her, you need to go follow her immediately on social media and check her out. She is an author, she is a speaker, a coach, mentor. She's amazing. So let me just briefly tell you what Fully Stoked Podcast is if you've never seen this before. I'm Sarah Stokes, your host, and by day I do mortgages. I help people with all their home financing needs, but what I really like to do is connect people to my friends, my colleagues, my connections in the community, and Kim Angeli is just top tier. I'm just so excited that you're here.
I can go now. I'm kidding.
Let me tell you exactly all of the things. So many credentials, so many things. So Kim, she's an entrepreneur, speaker, and author who has spent more than 30 years in sales and business leadership. She's the creator of Grow with Gratitude and Grumpy to Grateful. These are programs designed to help entrepreneurs build businesses that are both personally fulfilling and financially profitable. Everybody wants that. Raise your hand. Earlier in her career, she worked with companies like Campbell Soup, Cisco Systems, Sprint Wireless, and became a $65 million producer.
$1.5 million a week.
Okay, and I do personally know some people that are being coached by Kim, and I can tell you they have gleaned so much knowledge.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
Absolutely, definitely
I'd love to hear
testimonies.
that.
Yeah. So after the dot-com bust and just 11 days after 9/11, Kim launched her own insurance agency out of a
Bedroom closet.
Are you kidding me? And then
My husband actually had to put a phone line in there, like for the fax.
Out of the
fax
closet?
machines? Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It was an oversized closet. Let me just say it was like a double closet, like
Okay.
kind of like a walk-in.
It was still a closet.
But it was still a
Yeah.
closet.
So, and then you sold it
In 2016.
for
Yeah.
over 600%
Profit.
Wow.
Yeah.
So definitely someone I need to get coaching from.
Super
So
fun.
you're a mentor, you're a speaker, and you coach as executive director of the Certified Go-Giver Speaker and Coaching Program. And she's worked alongside Bob Berg, and co-author of the best-selling book, The Go-Giver.
Well, he's the author of the book.
He is the author.
He's
Well,
Bob and John David Mann.
All right, so we're going to start right here. Today, she mentors speakers and coaches as an executive director of the Certified Go-Giver Speaker and Coaching Program, working right alongside Bob Berg and
John David Mann.
John David.
He's the author of the Go Giver with Bob.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. My goodness, there's more. She is also the author of my daily gratitude journal, and I have one of these. I'm actually actively working in it.
Oh,
It's
good.
so good. It is so good. So get one of these. They can find these on your website, probably
On my website, mainly through Amazon, and bulk copies through me. And this is 15 years of me practicing gratitude. So it's all in one little 30-day challenge.
It is really, really good. She came to the Union County Network of Women, which is one of our women's networking groups, and spoke. You speak various places, so you probably catch her anywhere, but she did such a great job explaining how gratitude, which is the idea behind this, really kind of puts you at a better position in the community, especially if it's authentic.
Right. Well, it has to be authentic, but it does also build resiliency so that even if I hadn't had gratitude when my parents passed away, or some of the things I've done, like my parents are passing away, my homeschooling my daughter, like I had 2 businesses, like it's the resilience that you get when you're living gratefully.
Okay.
So it's really my whole purpose and passion since 2015. I wrote my purpose and passion down in May of 2015 is to inspire grateful living where people connect outside of social media and build relationships.
Gosh, that's good.
Because we're the most connected society in the world with no connection. We have no connection. We have Facebook friends, we have acquaintances, but when you really dig deep and build relationships, and you don't need a ton of them, you just need to know which ones. Like I just went to a funeral of a friend of mine, and he was 68 years old. And you really think about, like, when I was coaching him in 2022, and I helped him sell his insurance agency, at the time, he didn't know he had like 3 summers left. So I tell people, if you're not living life fully right now, I'll be 55 this year, when are you going to live life fully? You're going to wait like my parents who never retired. They got sick at their desk and I sent them home and saved their company from bankruptcy. But they lived life to their fullest in between. They didn't wait. If they'd have waited for retirement to go to Europe and live life and they lived life in between the dash. And so you're choosing grateful living, not why is this happening to me? You're being a victor, not victimhood, is really the shift.
It is, people talk about like the higher vibration, higher frequency, just being more positive, but it's more than just being positive, right? You're choosing to actually live that intentionally. I love that. And I don't think anybody's ever explained it to me before because
I taught grumpy to grateful last week on stage. And so you could be grumpy I'm not telling you you're never going to be grumpy. You could ask my husband, do you need a snack or a nap? He'll say 26 years of marriage. So he basically, I can be grumpy, but I'm not going to be like if I was grumpy at, let's say under 30, I could be grumpy for a couple of days. I wasn't going to bounce back into gratitude quickly because I didn't have enough tools in my toolbox I knew how to use. What I want to do is equip people. I want to equip people on how to be resilient and get to gratefulness faster and choose it instead of saying, well, I'm just miserable because, well, no, you're choosing miserable. You're choosing chaos. If you're living in chaos, you have chosen chaos. There are things you can do to get yourself out of chaos.
Right.
And I'll say God is not the creator of chaos.
Right.
He does not create chaos. Alignment with God and in gratitude will change your life. It transformed mine. I mean, there are people that are like, wow, she owns a gratitude company, because I wasn't always like responding in gratitude. I wasn't a great boss. I wasn't a great manager. I found gratitude in that journey.
It's a journey.
Oh, no, it's a journey. Yeah.
It is absolutely a journey. So with your coaching business, I know, like I said, I know 2 people right now that are actively working with you. So you have the online meetings.
So I have 2 coaching programs. I have my weekly coaching, which is via, it's weekly coaching with me every Tuesday. We do take breaks and stuff like that. And then I have a whole classroom of almost 2 years of you can on demand learn from me in video. And that's a community that I created because I cannot serve a lot of private clients because
like one of you,
like I have a private client right now I'm serving. We're building a 7-figure real estate business for her. And that's a lot of in between, all the heavy lifting thing. And I do run 90-day mastermind. So right now I'm doing a 90-day mastermind for 90 days, and I will do it in group so that people are invited to it. So I can work with like 5 business owners in group, and they get me, but it's not as priced like a private client. So they're going to have transformation in 90 days, because what people don't realize is what you work on today shows up 90 days from now. And a lot of us get frustrated with, like, I just helped a client. I coached him for 3 years and his team. When I first started working with him in 2023, he said to me, my business is seasonal. I'm like, no, your activity is seasonal.
Yeah.
You've bought into the myth that power washing homes is seasonal. I can show you a niche and it will never be seasonal. So I built a $5 million division for him with 25 people.
What?
25 relationships. So you're being sold by marketers that you need 5,000 Facebook friends, and I can show you can run an offline business. You've got to have a digital presence for trust. But this person I'm building the 7-figure business for has no social media, 0. And so you're being sold things by people who want you to buy into it. But I'm saying, one of my top real estate agents in Marvin, no social media. She has a website that I kind of made her get. She does 50 to 75 million a year in a 10-mile radius of Marvin by herself with a staging team.
Are you kidding me?
So you're being sold, you got to be online. You got to be scalable. Scaling is a myth. I mean, there are people that do VIP days, like one of the coaches I follow. She does a VIP day is $250,000.
Wait, what is that? Tell me what it is.
A VIP day is where you sit down, and I do some of them, where you sit down with someone for a whole day and you map out. Well, first of all, you say what is going well in your business, because I have this innate ability to see what's not working.
Right.
So it's kind of like the guy who just passed away.
Yeah.
So I went in his business in 2022, and he had an insurance agency, 2 locations. And I said, okay, the first step is I'm going to audit your business, because that's what I did to save my dad's company from bankruptcy when he got sick. So I said, I'm going to audit the business, and I'm going to say what's working, what's driving revenue, what's fun, right? Because if you're not having fun in your business, it's time to pivot. It's time to do something. Like I've gotten rid of it. If you're not having fun, we need to pivot. So I went into his business and I audited the employee, I met with every employee, I audited the business, the processes and all that. And then I said, this is phase one. And I said, okay, here's phase one. And you have two options. We can go to phase two and clean up everything and make it run like a well-oiled machine. There'll be some heavy lifting or whatever. Right. Or option two, you can sell the place. You're done. We can do a little bit of things to get the place ready to sell. And so I'm standing in my mother had passed away. I remember him calling me. He was amazing. I remember him calling me. He's like, what were my two choices again? And I was like, we clean up, we take phase one, and we clean up is phase two. So we have option number one is we clean up what I found, or option two is you sell. He said, I'll take Happy Meal number two. Well, thank God, because he just passed away. I went to his funeral yesterday. And so he got 3 more, not owning an insurance agency, awesome. Not worried about going to the office, hanging out with his family for 3 years. Now, he didn't know. I didn't know in 2022 when I was coaching him, and he sold his business in early 2023, that he had 3 summers left. So I want you to know, I don't want you to wait and say, oh, I'm going to have fun when I retire. No. Nobody's guaranteed you retirement. So I watched a YouTube video about 4 years ago. I always tell my young people, we got 18 summers with your kids, right? Well, I watched a gentleman who's with EXP, and he said, oh, for those of you over 50, you have about 20 summers left. And I was like, oh, different perspective, different method. I'm 54. Yeah. So I was like, wow, that's a whole different perspective. So I'm always reminding myself, I don't know how many summers I have left. Am I having fun? Would I repeat last week?
Whoa.
Would I repeat last week?
Coaching me right now.
Like, okay. So would you repeat would you? And I'm always looking at Clarity's 2020. What would I change from last week? Nothing. I had an amazing week in Fort Worth. Yeah. I spoke in front of 325 people. My daughter was with me. I met amazing people. The only thing I would add, and I wrote it in my journal this morning because I use my own journal, I would have had Doug Herbert, my friend who's he flies private jets. Yes. He owns Brakes, teen driving school. If you have a teenager, put him in it. I would have had Doug fly us there. I wouldn't have taken American Airlines. That's the only thing I would have changed out of the entire experience. So if you're not living life now and moving towards where you want to, like, let's say you identify, I want to have this life by design. Okay, we can't wake up one morning and say, oh, I want that. You've got to move towards it. And what does that take? Right? We re-engineer, like, here it is. Here's what I want. So we re-engineer, how do we get here? And that's how I work from an island half the time. That's how I work virtually. That's how I designed all that.
You designed that life. So is that what you help people do? You
help them get to where they want to be and get rid of what's not serving them.
So how did you get all this knowledge? Because
just investing in myself. Like Jack Canfield is my mentor. I'm a trainer for him. I'm constantly, like today already, I've done my journal. I get up early. I've done my journal. I've watched probably 45 minutes to an hour of investing in myself methodology. I'm constantly learning either for myself or to teach my students. So right now I'm working through a process. I don't show anyone I am a believer that if you're going to teach it, you better embody it.
Okay. Right. So you do it.
So I do it. So I'm actually working through a process right now to help my clients. And I'm kind of at a C- on the process, because when you're implementing a habit, you get in your habits and I'm like, oh, I got to do that thing.
Oh, right.
But it's a really, really deeper level of rewiring the brain. And so I like to do it first. Yes. I want to bake the brownies first and make sure they're good. And then I'm going to show somebody how to bake brownies. I believe if someone is going to show you how to get to the journey, they need to have done it before. And if you're a coach, you better have a coach.
You said that.
And that drives me nuts. So people who are coaching and mentoring people and they don't have a coach, like my coach I've had for 3 years. He does $3.5 million a year in his school group. Yeah. So I built my school group. Okay. I've mirrored what he's helped me with healing and all the stuff I just talked about for 3 years. He's a Bob Proctor prodigy. He has a coach. And so I believe if you're going to coach and you're going to tell people they need a coach, you better have a coach. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay, so let's talk about what is the difference between therapy, having a therapist, and having a coach? Because I think some people out there need to understand there is a definite difference, right?
Yeah, there's a difference. I mean, you could call me a business therapist, but I'm not licensed to do therapy.
Right.
But I'm going to help you I want you to imagine a pickle jar, and there are pickles in the jar, and there's a label on the outside of the jar. When you're the pickle in the jar in your own business, you cannot read the label. So you need someone to come in and say, oh, okay, so you're burnout doing this, been there, done that. So you pivot to something else. And I have an innate ability, whatever it is, God given or whatever, to find low hanging fruit in someone's business or life and help them monetize the fun and profitability. It's something I do very easily. Yeah. And I don't know, and I do it for myself, because if I find I'm doing something that's not fun or profitable or serving my purpose and passion from 2025 when I wrote it down, because I got asked to actually help a gentleman with insurance in 2024 with an offering of a 7-figure payout salary every year.
Wow.
So I took what he told me, and this is, I'm very high in discernment. Like I pause and then I discern whether it's going to be in alignment with my purpose and passion that I defined with God. I didn't know it was in 2015. I just wrote it down. So my purpose is to inspire grateful living and have people connect with each other outside of social media and build relationships outside social media. So I took the 7-figure offer and what he wanted me to do, and it had nothing to do with that. And I was like, nope, no thanks. And so to be able to, and that's the second time I've done that. I did that also in 2018. And I was actually driving by the Ballantine Hotel, which is one of my favorite places. And I remember going up the ramp, and the guy's like, so you're turning down $1 million offer? And I said, yep, because it does not align with my purpose and passion that I wrote down in conjunction with God in 2015. And so when you're really definite in your purpose, it's so much easier because you're pausing and aligning. So what I teach my clients is I want you to be in co-creation with God, which for my higher self is God. And you can ask me as your business strategist or coach. Like, let's say I have a client right now going through a really horrific journey, and I'm mentoring her through this. Her old self 3 years ago could have never navigated this with grace and gratitude. She knows, she's actually even said that. My goal is to equip her. Now I'm there as a mentor for her right now because she's coaching with me. But my goal is that eventually I have equipped you with so many skills that I take the training wheels off and you're like, wee, and you move along. And you're already equipped up with what you need. Because like my client I was just telling you about, the real estate agent. I mean, I coached her for 3 years, and then my mom died, and I'm like, I'm going to Baldhead Island. You don't need to talk to me every week. Oh, yeah. I was like, no, that you already are equipped to do what you need to do. And if you need to call me and ask me something, do it. But you don't need to get on a Zoom with me every other week or every week or whatever we were doing.
She just liked you.
Yeah, that was an unhealthy kind of, let's talk to Kim. So I want to equip people to be able to evolve into maybe another coaching program, or like I have a client in Connecticut. She coached with me. And then I said at one point, I was like, I think you need to coach with Scott, my coach. Which some people say, no, but you lose. I'm not attached to the monetization of it. I'm attached to the human being evolving.
And your purpose
and the purpose.
Your alignment.
Right. It's the purpose is equipping you or the person in front of me. It's about them, not me.
Wow.
And a lot of coaches will be like, oh, you just gave up all that. Well, it's not about the revenue. It's that I will get provision over here somewhere else. I'm not attached to.
So what you just said this is something new that I just figured out, but I do a lot, like, because I do hustle, but if I'm hustling to earn money, I get burnout. Yeah. That is the reason that I'm doing it. So if my purpose is not that, but instead, if I just do whatever God puts in front of me, whatever it is, and I spend time with someone, interacting with someone, then it's like, okay, I have energy. But if I'm doing it because I gotta do more, I gotta hustle, I gotta make money, then it's like I can't do even half the amount if I do it for a better purpose, for the actual purpose, right?
Right.
And it's like a lot. This is so good. It's like pausing, right? If I pause and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm getting tired. Something's wrong with the way that I'm viewing my life right now. So if I align with the purpose that I believe God's put in front of me too, I just probably need to get coached.
So it's hustling, it's aligning versus, we were not called to hustle.
I don't want to hustle.
That is a myth.
Right.
Just so you know, we were called to be believers, not achievers. Just so you know.
That's good.
So the more, and even for me, white space on my calendar used to give me anxiety. Like I'd be like, oh, I'm not doing enough, because you have to understand I was a doer. I had a $1.5 million quota a week with Cisco, but I wasn't in this mindset of alignment. Now I've got to, I had to produce the journal.
So you were on a schedule. Yeah.
But when God brings you something and says, you're going to produce this in 3 weeks on Amazon, and you're like,
Whoa.
for a conference, and you're like, okay, you have to know that the mountains start. Boop, 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 boop. In fact, here's a great example of alignment. And I'm just going to share this with you because it happened to me last week, and I'm always so last week I had shipped 325 journals to the conference I spoke in at Fort Worth at Billy Bob's Honky Tonk, which was an amazing experience. And we put them out at the tables. At first, we were going to put them in the bags. And then my client said, no, let's put them on the tables. So I said, okay. So my daughter was with me because she has her own marketing company, so she can travel wherever. And so at the end of the venue, because I spoke 2 days in a row, the journals were out on the tables. And everybody when you travel, you do not want to take this mess back with you. I am trying my best to hand these to someone. I didn't know how many there were. Just know, at this point, I'm not a magician, but I did not know how many there were. So my daughter says to me, Mom, we'll just pick them up. We'll put them in your bag. And our bags were 38 pounds apiece when we checked in, which was very odd. And she said, we'll put them in our bags. It can't be over 50 pounds. And we'll just take them home.
Right.
Because you might need them or whatever. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just like not stressing. I have no anxiety, but I'm just like picking them up. We put them in the bags. We stuff them in our bags. And now our bags weigh like 55 pounds each.
Oh, no.
So we get to the checkout thing, and I'm always complimenting people. I'm always like being love and light wherever I am. Like if I come upon an American Airlines person who feels like they're having a grumpy day, I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. You're the best. So but her bag was 52 pounds and my bag was 55 pounds, and asked us if we got charged extra. No, we did not. He said, oh, we'll just let it slide. We were not in first class or anything at this point because we were in the 29th row. So we didn't have even priority. We were in the back of the plane, row 29. So he's like, oh, just let it go. So I'm tracking an Amazon order because I'm a big sponsor tomorrow for Molly Grantham's Bet on Yourself.
Oh, wow.
And so journals will be given out.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So I needed 450.
Okay.
So the order went through to her conference person, Carrie, who's amazing. I think it's 366 is the number. And I was needing 114 more. And the shipment is still sitting in Amazon right now. It's not been shipped. And they're filling bags right now as we speak for the Bet on Yourself conference. So I got the journals out of our suitcases. It gave me chill bumps. I got the journals out of the suitcases. And I needed 114. And I had 119.
What?
And I Uber couried them to her hotel yesterday. So even though I was trying to give them away, I want you to know that God knows the journey ahead of you, and he's not going to allow somebody to say, oh, yeah, I'll take them. Because he knew my daughter, who's very much in alignment at 23, said, we'll just put them in our bags and we'll take them home. I needed them for today. Yeah. So just know that we have to kind of let and allow what is happening.
Right.
Because discernment is your friend. And so I don't have any anxiety about it. And now the 114 will come back to me at the house, and then I'll have them for other things. And I don't know who they're for.
Right.
They'll be for somebody
else. Yeah.
But I just want you to know every day things like that are happening to you. And if you go back and look at your weekly, and look at the wins and lessons, not failures, we call them lessons. Failing is learning. So I call them wins and lessons. Is you'll go back in your week and say, oh, if my client Sherelle had taken these, I would have maybe had to order 100. I'd had to order them at full price Amazon because author copies takes them longer, whatever. I don't understand the whole process. I'm going to send Jeff Bezos a note, but that's okay. So they take longer. And so I would have been short 114. And so when we stuffed them in the suitcases, God knew we were going to need them. And so I'm not questioning if it feels in alignment. Now, if it feels chaotic,
well, that's the word that came to mind when you were telling me that. That's the opposite of chaotic.
Yeah. So we've had things where I've had to make a decision. And so what I do is I pause. I have the event, then I pause. And then I say, okay, let me sit with this. And if it feels like it's going to be chaos, like if I put this on my calendar, it's going to be chaos, it wasn't supposed to be there. Because a lot of people are causing chaos for themselves because they haven't learned this word. No.
Right.
And so they're putting chaos on their calendar when they haven't sat down and said, is this really in alignment with where I need to be serving?
And that's what you said, discernment, right? So like, I get it. I understand what you're saying. And I'm learning that the hard way, but I think
Me
it
too.
might be helpful to do one of your programs so that I could learn it in a very purposeful way.
Right.
That's
Well,
the point,
it
right?
doesn't happen overnight because if it happens, your yeses, you're always developing yourself, right? You're always developing, you know what you know today, and then you'll know what you know tomorrow, and it'll be more than it was today, right? So I tell people when you have more discernment and you're layered in your purpose and passion and you have it in front of you and you're using that as almost like a metric to measure, it's easier to say no. Because people say to me, I'll be out in an event, they're like, oh, you're really busy. I'm like, I'm as busy as God lets me be.
Yes.
Because I don't live in chaos. Because I didn't said no to your event doesn't mean I don't have time on my calendar. It meant it wasn't in alignment for me to be there. And so sometimes I would say that's a whole
perspective.
because a lot of people aren't saying, okay, I spent time and energy here.
Right.
Where did that bear fruit in my business or my life?
Right.
And so a lot of people are afraid to say, oh, I've been doing this and they won't let it go. And so what happens is if you're holding on to something like this and you won't let this thing go that's not bearing fruit, nothing else can come into my hand. So the law of the vacuum is when I say no to this and I say, okay, I'm going to shed this. It's not serving me any longer. Then whatever needs to be comes in. And that's the law of the vacuum, which is something I teach. Because if we're saying yes to everything, you're saying no to things that could be serving you better. So I like to teach people to work smart, not hard, because a lot of people are running around out here and they're on TikTok and Facebook and they're broke. They're broke. They can't rub two nickels together. And the God did not call us to be broke. We sit in abundance. All of us sit in abundance. We block it with our limiting beliefs and our yeses, the things that were never in alignment.
That's so good. Would you mind reading just, there's one part in here, like on the first one, take for example, the first day. And you've got such a pretty voice, but
Self-appreciation.
yeah. So it's a whole thing and it's so good. But like right here, like sit for 2 minutes and ask your higher self, God or the universe or source, whatever aligns with you. So this is not meant for one set of people.
No.
You don't have to be Buddhist. You don't have to be Christian. It is just whatever resonates with you, whatever is the one for you. And I loved that.
Right.
I really think that is helpful because it appeals to so many people. We're all people. We all need.
Well, yeah, we all have a higher self. Gratitude is 900 megahertz energetic.
Oh, love that you said that.
So gratitude is 900 megahertz energetically.
Okay.
Anger is 150.
Ooh.
150 is a low level energy where disease lives, poverty lives on 600 and under. So the reason why, here's what I've learned teaching the wealth code, the wealth abundance code, is people don't stay in poverty because they want to. They stay in poverty is because of what they've been taught from 0 to 7. And energetically, they don't know how to get themselves out of it. If you could just increase the energetics, rewire the brain. So every time, this is why this is not an app. When you write in blue ink on white paper, it rewires the brain. If you write in cursive, it rewires the brain even faster. So the reason why writing was taken out of the school systems is because it creates critical thinking and entrepreneurship. And public schools were never designed to create entrepreneurs. Public schools were designed to create worker bees. It's 9 to 5 with a lunch and 2 breaks. What does that feel like? Work. I've never worked in an office in my entire life. I've never had to be anywhere but for 90 days with Cisco Systems. It was created so that you would feel comfortable going to work, comfortable coming home, going back to work. A lot of people don't know why they go to work. So when you want to rewire the brain from your negative, like being like, oh my God, I gotta go to work or whatever it is, and you're in that energy, when you write in blue ink on white paper, it rewires the brain to seek out miracles.
So that's why this
Seek
is
out.
blue.
It's why this is blue and this is white, and why my pens are blue ink.
So I've never heard that before.
Oh, well, I have literally,
Love it.
so I got really, really curious about why my daughter is the way she is,
Mhm.
because we put her in a school that taught cursive writing, called character education. 0 to 7 is where your programming comes in, how you actually live your life today if you don't heal.
You have a
self.
lot of information,
It's-
wisdom.
It's basically, but I will tell you, the white paper blue ink, if you wrote in black here and then wrote in blue, you actually can tell the difference in the energy.
Okay, well, I'm getting blue
Yeah.
pens.
So that's why my pens are blue. And Ollie, my client, is the reason why this book is the way it is used to way before I got really deeper into this work. I mean, my journeys, I started practicing gratitude in 2010 intentionally. It wasn't that I wasn't grateful. I just wasn't doing it at this level. I could take a notebook and write, I am happy and grateful for, just a blank piece of paper.
Okay.
And what my clients told me when I started working with them is they said, you can do that because you've been in the work so long. Right. So if you've mastered your craft and you're trying to teach someone, you're here at this expert level, but you've got to go back and say, okay, where was I at Jumanji level 1? Like, where did I start when I first started practicing gratitude? And so he said, I need to be prompted. So that's why we did the prompts and the question. I want you to start rewiring the brain. And then I want you not to just say, I am happy and grateful for my friends and family and my fur baby. I want you to write why you're grateful. And then I encourage you not to repeat. And that is because you're not going to rewire the brain at the level that will have transformation for you if you don't dig deeper into, I'm grateful that the drive here today was 6 minutes from my house, right? I didn't know you lived 6 minutes from my house. I could have walked here.
Yeah.
I would have been sweating, but I could have walked here. But so I was grateful that I didn't have to drive uptown Charlotte, or it wasn't a long way, right? And then the 2 minutes, this is from the book, 2 Chairs with God. That's from Bob Boudin. And that changed my life in 2023 when my mom died. Now, I got the book in 2022, but like a lot of us, life happens. And I dusted it off in 2023 and applied the principles. I say, I can hand you a book on how to ride a bike, but you don't know how to ride a bike till you ride the bike.
Yeah.
Right. You might have a book sitting on your desk somewhere that'll change your life, but you haven't done anything with it. You haven't applied the principles. So when I started applying this 2 minutes, which is just sitting with self, now I do more than 2 minutes.
Sure.
I do it all day long, actually.
In the beginning,
But in the
stages, people may
beginning,
need it.
2 minutes. I got people that I did 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. This is progress, not perfection. And then these two, so this saying lives in a book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, by Florence Scovel Shinn. So she's a woman. She wrote the book 101 years ago, self-published it.
Wow.
Shamed her for it because a lot of the principles change her life. This is what I just declare. Thy will be done this day. Today is a day of completion. I give thanks for this perfect day. Miracle shall follow miracle, and wonder shall never cease. See, miracles are happening to you every day. We're just not looking for them. We're looking for what's going wrong. And then Louise Hay, if you don't follow her, she's not with us anymore, but she is a miraculous teacher. She's beautiful. Her voice is amazing. And then if I'm having anxiety, if I need to calm the nervous system, which really runs our life, I will say, all is well. Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come. I am safe. Now, for years, I've repeated this in my journal, and I was like, I don't know why we say that I am safe thing is. And then one day I learned we're telling our subconscious mind we're safe because it's its only job. So I thought, why did she put that there? When I started, I've been doing this quote for years, is you're telling your subconscious mind, I am safe.
Got it.
That's the difference. And then you can write over here on the side just what comes to you. I want paper to be able to write, so that's what I do.
No, I love it. And I think my kids will be able to see it one day. It'll be something. And I want to give one of these to my mom and my dad too.
Yeah. And it's really just all about the person doing it. And it's like a Mad Lib.
So I'm one of those 30-second people. That's where I've started.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would say I'm about halfway done. So maybe I'm about 35 seconds, but I'm going to do what you say. And
it's just sitting there mindfully.
I need to take 2 minutes. I need to do
and if you can't take 2 minutes here, you need to go sit outside for 20 and be in nature. Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
All good.
I hear that. So, okay. So, wow, that was so much incredible.
I know that's a lot, but it's really just, starting the journey.
So Kim was just speaking in Fort Worth.
Fort Worth. Yep.
Yeah. Last week.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. She's going to be, you just said something about Molly Grantham's Bet on
Yeah,
Yourself.
well, I am a sponsor for her event tomorrow. So.
She's very plugged in, you know, so she's very, very much, she speaks various places. I think you did a conference. I can't remember what it was, but
In
it was a
Monroe.
women's- When
Yeah.
you did it, well, yeah, that conference too. Yeah, what do you think about that one? I was thinking about, there was a big one in a couple of counties over, not too.
Oh, in Hickory.
Yes.
Yeah, in
That was
Hickory.
a big one.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I think she's just fantastic. And you do have a lot of wisdom. I've got notes.
Sorry.
No, I've never had all these notes before, but I definitely want to find out more. And I think you guys should check out her website. That's the best way to get in touch with you.
Yeah, because it links to my YouTube and my community and all the things. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So she's got different levels. Obviously, one-on-ones. She doesn't have a huge capacity for that. She's one person. But you've got the mastermind groups. You have to be invited to that, and then you've got your classes that are like a library.
So anyone that has the journal can join the community that's in the journal.
Okay.
For the free part, and there are free lessons in there. And then I have a weekly coaching that is $125 a month.
And that's what my two girlfriends do.
Mhm.
And they love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Super
They love
fun.
it. So I need to probably get on board with that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have any white spots on my calendar, and I think I have, after this conversation, I'm going to make it a priority, but I'm going to sign up for your monthly.
Oh yeah, awesome.
I really am. I appreciate you so much. I have all these questions, but I almost think you've answered so many of them. I mean, I'd like to ask a couple if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep you forever, but this was so good. Okay. So what was the turning point when you realized business could be built around gratitude instead of just hustle?
When I started I have a ranking of relationships process I do, and I uncovered that in insurance, and I nurtured, out of my 2,000 clients, I nurture everybody, but when you focus on the A relationships, you really drive the revenue.
That's a really good answer.
Yeah. I have a complete webinar on that on my website. They're updating right now. It's actually on YouTube as well.
Okay.
And I talked about this on stage last week, but it's not in my journey with Cisco Systems. My quota was $65 million, and I had 1,000 sprint reps I could call on. I didn't get to 65 million with 1,000 people. I did it with about 20. Well, because people are spreading themselves, and they're going to this and they're going to that, and there's no intention on where they went.
Okay. So there needs to be intention.
And they're running here and they're running there, and they're doing this networking event and that networking event. And so when I sit down with people, I'm like, this is a homework item I'll tell every business owner to do. Where did your last 5 customers come from that check these 3 things off? They were fun. First thing.
It's important.
They were profitable and repeatable. Okay, so they were fun and they were profitable, and it's a repeatable service you enjoy serving someone with. So everybody has a niche in their business. One client they could serve well and duplicate them.
Yes.
But they get so hooked up on serving everyone. I teach niches to riches, and really drilling down into who do you serve the best well, and you just create a business out of it.
That's just.
And I don't care. I don't care if you have an ice cream store. I don't care if you're a mortgage rep. I don't care. There is a single person or two, and I can build a business from one person, because one person knows 250 people. Singularly, if you took the qualities of that person, and a lot of this I already knew, but I really honed into it when I'm a Tony Robbins Business Mastery graduate. When you take that single avatar and duplicate it, you literally do not look for business, because that person sees the value. They're not saying, oh, what did you do for me lately? And so it affords you to not chase shiny things, because you know who you're looking for.
So just that was coaching for me.
Well, that's,
epiphanies over here.
5 clients. I don't care if it's 3, but I did this with a mortgage client of mine. I spoke years ago for her team, and I was walking her through. I said, well, where'd your last 5 customers come from for mortgages? And we were in the Starbucks in Marvin. She's like, oh, George. I was like, okay, well, what does George do? And she was like, well, he's a real estate agent. I was like, well, when was the last time you asked George who he was looking for, or you sent him a gift card or a thank you note and said, have a dinner on me? Or how have you built the relationship, not wide, but deep, with George?
Yeah.
Because George knows 250 people. In fact, my speaking last week, when I was coaching my clients after I spoke, I had to coach right after I spoke. And that one speaking event, 325 people in the room times 250 people, touched 81,000 people.
Wow.
Because see, people don't teach that, well, you know more because you have a podcast, but the average person can do a wedding or a funeral, 250 people. And so what they're not thinking about is how they network through and connect to those people.
Yeah.
And they're running around here and there, and they go to this event and they get 200 business cards and they have nothing.
I think you're preaching to a lot of it.
It feels, people have told us, oh, you got to build it. Who said? Like who? Because I could go back to people, 99% of my clients are offline. And we're building offline 7-figure businesses back rooted in foundational things I did prior to 2001.
I believe it. I believe it. So get on LinkedIn. You've got a great presence on LinkedIn, and I don't. I'm kind of slow, but that's one of the smaller platforms. And so I know, but everybody's chiming in on your stuff. So,
but when I go back and look at where my top paying $250,000 clients came from, they weren't online.
Not even on LinkedIn.
No, because 2 of the clients I just worked with, we had to create LinkedIn profiles for them.
That's great.
Yeah. Just to have because we live in a zero trust world right now. Yeah. So I will say, I am going to encourage everybody to have a LinkedIn profile and a website.
Right.
Now, I am not going to tell anyone they've got to have Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. In fact, I'm not on TikTok at all. I have a profile, but I don't manage it. And the reason I have a social media presence is
trust.
This right here.
Okay.
God said, I want 1 million journals in the hands of people by 2027. And so, because I asked him, can I get off Facebook? No, because there are people, they may never come into my community or never pay me for coaching or never, ever talk to me. But because I posted something, they started living life differently. Other people, if I come into their business and I say, is this where you need to spend energy? And we decide not to spend energy there, then I just gave them more energy somewhere else to focus on. Because what you focus on expands. And if you're not getting your 5 clients that you love from social media, then go focus on where they came from. Go do more of where they came from. And so that's where we're running around like a chicken with their head cut off. And I ran 2 businesses, homeschooled my daughter. My parents were dying. Like I did this well because I go back and all that was still running. Even though I was having to focus on my parents and my daughter and all the things, is I wasn't serving a ton of people.
And it sounds like you have strategy, a lot of excellent honed in strategy. So you've done it, you've got the blueprint, and you're just sharing it with us.
And it's curated, right? Because your strategy is not the same as some other person.
Right.
There's no cookie cutter. I tell people the foundation may be the same, but the way that you're positioning yourself in the market, let's say you're going to write a book or whatever, you're going to have a different positioning than someone that says, I'm not going to have a book, or I don't want to be all things to all people. I just want to make 7 figures a year or 250,000 a year. And I want to work 4 days a week, or it's your life. Who said you've got to live it? But what do you want it to look like? Like I work 4 days a week. I don't do Fridays. And my dentist who works 4 days a week and has a wait list, he's not losing sleep at night because he works 4 days a week. Right. But yet y'all are all worried, I got to meet people on Friday. Well, why? Who said?
That's a good point.
I'm available when I say I'm available. Nobody knows my calendar but me. Nobody sees my calendar but me and God. So it's really giving yourself permission, because a lot of the hustle, and I'll just say this because it's a lot of information, but your hustle mindset comes from the pleaser gene. And the pleaser gene does not serve anyone.
Goodness, it does.
Yeah, it comes from the pleaser gene. Hustle comes from pleaser gene.
And that's where you're talking about like rewiring, right?
Yeah, you got to rewire the brain. Yes, it's not in alignment, because your no to someone else, you've got to be okay to say. I mean, I've said no to one of my closest friends. She asked me to an event and I said, let me ask God. Let me see if I'm supposed to be there. And it was going to cause chaos in my weekend that day. Now, she really wanted me there. It was recently. And I said, I know you really want me to go because your husband can't go. I said, but God said no. And she's like, okay, whatever, God said no. I said, and I don't have to explain that to her,
right?
Because she knows me. But I said, God said no, and so she's like, okay, God said no. I said, I'm not going with you, and it just wasn't in alignment. And so when you get to that level, now I'm not always right. Sometimes I say yes to stuff, and I'm like, oh, and God's like, yeah, how's that working out for you? I'm like, not so good, not so good. So I mean, I'm not perfect. I mean, I've said yes to stuff this year that I'm like, how did I get here? And God's like, yeah, how's that working for you? But He's teaching me along the way, so that I can say no, the more affluence and authority I get, I'm going to have more discernment. Because I will tell you, standing in that green room where Ella Langley and Miranda Lambert and Rick Springfield and Luke Bryan had gotten ready to go on stage where I spoke last week. And I stood in front of the mirror where Miranda Lambert and I know Ella Langley have checked their lipstick. And I asked God, what am I doing here? And he was like, well, I'm just preparing you for what I'm going to have you do. Woo! And so I might not want to be on stage like that. I might not think it's that fun. I mean, it's fun, but it's a lot of work.
It might be what he wants, though.
But if he wants me to go there, I will go. Because I moved to Waxhaw in 2013 and knew no one. And he's the only reason I live here. Or gratitude would not be born. So basically, if I'm obedient to where I'm being called, because he knows the journey I need to lead. Now, a lot of people won't do it, but he'll call somebody else to do it.
That's right.
So it's just really like getting into clear discernment. And I say it's God. You can ask a human, then back to God, because God's going to give you the final clarity. Your higher self, God, for me, it's God, is going to give me say, okay, that. And if it's like a hot knife through butter and it's not causing chaos, he is not the creator of chaos, is all I can tell you.
That's exactly right. So I have a story for you. I had a friend who sent me a handwritten thank you letter one time, and I cried because I haven't received a handwritten thank you letter in years and years and years. And she was just thanking me for my time. She's just spent some time with me, and she just wanted me to know that. And I thought, this is amazing. I got to start doing this. And then a few months later, you spoke on doing things like it does. I was going to ask you what makes businesses truly unforgettable. And that's one of the things you told
Taking notes in the mail.
Yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes energy. Yes, it takes a stamp, and you have to walk to the post office or the mailbox. But it really impressed me. And after you spoke on it, I was like, I can attest that is the truth. It is incredibly powerful. So what else makes business truly unforgettable?
It's staying in touch with your customers or your relationships beyond the transaction. I like to tell the story about 2 years ago, we bought our house downtown Waxhaw and I had a garage door put in, and I've never heard from them again. And I could have, I think I could have referred them 10 or 15 jobs already. But if I'm not easily referable beyond the transaction, like even sending like my client that I worked with for 3 years, they do a gratitude note. Thanks for your business every year in the mail. Like, who does that with no like coupon, not like buy one, get one? Like, what if you got a thank you note from your insurance agent, your mortgage person, your banker, like in the mail every year? So I send a ton of stuff out. I have a magazine. I do thank you notes. I do birthday cards. But even in my insurance agency, we did 2,000 birthday cards, 2,000 thank you notes a year at a foundation level. I never looked for business, ever. Never looked for business. In fact, I was on a waiting list at one point for my insurance agent. We shut the agency down for 2 months, no new business, because we couldn't it was kind of like the wait list for Luke Bryan. He's not losing sleep at night because his concert sold out. When you get back to people and you start always be thanking them and adding value, like connecting them with their next best client or inviting them to an event or holding space for them, you're adding value. In the Go-Giver, there are 5 laws. And the first law is the law of value. And the second law is the law of compensation. And it's not in reverse. You're not focused on the money and then you add value. You're focused on the other person. And then the law of compensation responds because you're putting other people first.
Wow.
And when people stop thinking about the agenda they're trying to do and they're thinking about the person in front of them, the energy is totally different too.
It is.
Yes.
Higher. Right?
Yeah, it's a total different. And you can't fake that energy. You can't fake gratitude. You're either authentically yourself or not, which is the law of authenticity. One of the Go-Giver laws is you're just being yourself.
Yeah.
And you're not making excuses for it. You're not trying to be somebody else. You're being yourself, your true self.
Yeah. This is so much good information. I've got 3 little practical takeaways. Okay. So give me one daily habit anyone can start today.
You can write one note of gratitude. I don't care if you take a notepad, or I have a 5-day, you can download 5 days of this journal off from my website. Write one thing you're grateful for before you go to bed. I am grateful for. It just starts the mind.
All right. Number 2, how to build stronger client relationships.
Don't forget about them beyond the transaction. When like I just had someone join my mastermind that starts May 6th. They will get a gift in the mail between now and May 6th.
Nice.
They will get They got a thank you note for paying. I've already said thanks for the payment. Like, you think all of those little things are insignificant,
But they're not.
but if you're always be thanking ABT and you're always continuously thanking, like even a text, thanks so much for the payment. I want to make sure your address was this because I'm sending you a package in the mail between now and next week. Like, have you ever joined a mastermind? Like, even the people that join my community, $125 a month, get a gift in the mail within the first 30 days. Like, so it's really like, it seems insignificant, but all the little things build trust. And a lot of people are forgetting to communicate with the client at that level, and they erode the trust.
All right. Side note. Do you have a number, like a limited number of seats in your monthly?
Not the month. The monthly is, I have 17 people in that, and I could have 500 people in it.
Okay.
My mastermind, I'm only doing 5 and have 2 seats left because I'm going to dig into their business, and within 90 days they'll have. It's what I've done since 97 to make 6 figures since 1997 every year consistently. People aren't consistent in their business. They're not consistent with what got them there. And then they get there and they're busy, and all the stuff that got them to busy, they stop doing.
Wow.
So it's building the consistency in their business 365 days a year so that when your parents pass away or you're homeschooling your daughter or all the things that need to be consistent still run. Because I believe in systems. I believe in consistency and all the habits. Well, you've got to make it a habit, which is the most.
Well, this might be the answer to the next question. This is the last practical takeaway that I'll ask you. Tell me a mindset shift for entrepreneurs feeling stuck.
You just start with what's going well. Here's what I'll tell you. If you cannot be grateful for the $100 in your business bank account, God is never going to bless you with 100,000. If you cannot bless the money in your account right now, evolving to a higher level will never happen.
That's awesome.
So bless the Benjamin Franklins in your bank account right now. Say, yeah. And because if you can't do that at a low level, the 7 figures or the $100,000 in your bank account will not happen.
That's awesome. All right, Kim, where can everyone reach you? What's your website?
It's kimangeli.com. Kim, KIMANGELI.com, Angel with an I. That's where all my stuff, I'm on YouTube. I have Facebook, Instagram, all the things. And you can download the 5-day gratitude, 5 days of the gratitude journal there. And then I send you an email every day and walk you through kind of like some steps.
Okay, I'll link your website. So
And
that,
yeah. So really just my goal is that people are choosing grateful living. Only 3% of people woke up this morning and thought, wow, yippee, another day. The rest of them are like, oh my God, I got to go. They're really grumpy. And so I want you to shift. I'm not saying you're not ever going to be grumpy, but we want to be there just for a moment and be able to shift and equip ourselves to get out of it.
Well, thank you for doing that. Thank you for changing the world.
Well, no, you're changing the world yourself. I'm just equipping you to take action.
Yeah, I do love the great
thank you.
Gratitude and just waking up with a better attitude.
Yeah, it's and you're choosing it. Choosing grateful over grumpy. You have the power to choose.
Well, Kim Angeli, you are amazing. I appreciate you being here. Guys, stay tuned and check the summary below. I'll link all this good stuff for you. We'll have another great show next time. Thanks a lot.
Bye.